Off to Masada, and the kids are getting wilder and crazy every day. Look at
Okay, now you will see where they sell the sheep, they sell the goat, they buy everything that they need later on in the city. That's how they exist, you know, this is the system.
And they slaughter the sheep themselves?
Yeah, no, they just sell it to them and they go to somebody that is doing it. They don't have to slaughter. We can't park because we are blocking the road. So be careful, do it quick, and we will have to move. See them? Everyone brings the sheep and goats. They're selling them.
That's the Rock
And
of
they
the
go to the
Golden
markets, to the
Gate.
bazaar, to the shops that
That's
we
the
saw,
holy
buying
Muslim area.
big plastic bags, everything that they
You
need.
see the Rock of the
And
Dome
big
over
families,
there.
4 wives, 20 kids, so but all around on pillows, all sides, you hold you so nice, comfortable. And they start to bring in, first will be the very, very strong coffee. You start to drink a little bit, and then they bring you a big plate of rice. You saw it, the alternative rice with rice, full of rice and lamb and sheep. And you take the rice, with the heels. And that's really what you read in this. And the book about the desert, about the Bedouins, about Lawrence of Arabia. How we came from the wilderness, how we came from Europe. I came into this place and liked the Bedouins so much. We stayed with them and lived with them. Later on, we even represented them in some kind of committees and delegations in England. But at the end, where the English throw them out from this area, especially the Turks actually, throw them out from the area and send him back to England. Then he died somewhere in England. But he was the biggest, supporter of the Arabs here. And he described his life in the wilderness like a marvelous life, how they live here, and it's a special kind of people and good people. The truth is that they are nice people till you are in their tents, which means till you are their guests. The moment you step out, they will be ready to kill you and do everything to you. Till you are in their tents, you can do really everything and be their guest. That's what I said. See there? The sea level sign. See the sea level? No, that's all. See the sea level? And the camel and the sea level. Camel is already below sea level. You see, he's in the water. See him, the nomad over there, the Bedouin? He makes the coffee, he sits there, he prepares the coffee on the fire. He was behind over there.
No rides today. When we come back.
Hey, Mati, does any Hollywood crews come out here filming?
Yeah, of course. Come on, many. And looking carefully, you'll see already how it's dry. Look at this. What can they eat here? Sheep and goats. Camels, you understand, because for them, they can eat those green bushes that we have here on the right, and it's enough for them for about 2 weeks, without any problems. They have camels here with 1 ham. In Egypt we have 2 hams. In the States you have ham free. All done. See the kibbutz on the right over there. On the lines. They used to bring in like this water in tankers, see right here. In the beginning, carrying from the spring of Elisha and Jericho. Water, and later on when we found water here, this was possible to start to develop.
תגידו, מראש אני אקרא את כל
היינו חולי בעיתון. הם היו כמעט מתים. לא דיבר חסר הרבה, שהתקשו לפיגוע רציני. לא רחוק, ראית את השיטה. צמוד לסלעים. לא תיקח רואה אותם. אבל גם לא רואה אותם, אבל הם חמקו לחוק. כל הכבוד, לכן היה עושה עבודה יפה. היה לפני זמן כבר.
לא יודע איפה הוא לא התביע אותם לפני. אני לא יודע איפה הוא לא התביע אותם בבית.
But they are around the area. If we need them, they'll be here. And the Dead Sea is actually marking the border between the 2 countries. This side, Israel, in the middle, runs the border with Jordan. And this dividing line is not marked something. Nobody has boats or ships or navy here, except sometimes in Engedi we have some navy people. there. You put in the boat into the water, you have to take it out and wash it. See, this is the Kidron Valley coming from Jerusalem, next to the Golden Gate in Jerusalem. You see here? That's how the Kidron Valley runs in here. You see the big crater on the right. The riverbed runs in here and cutting off, and it's being washed into the Dead Sea. On the way, you see they planted the grapes, vineyards. So this kind of
Look at
waterfall.
this is all grapes, vineyards.
Irrigating
Huh.
those grapes here in this place. Yeah. It's another kibbutz here. It's Peh Shalem. See the houses over there on the hill. The hill, they were much more, but some of them only came down to this point. They were in the beginning up higher on top of the mountains. They changed the location because of some reason, because of the fields that they have around here. And that's how they live here, you know, in this area. Pioneers of Israel, the modern pioneers. They really suffered in the beginning. Even now, it's not so easy to start here somewhere.
What do you think? All right.
E-I-N-G-E-D-I and Getty. And if you look up, you'll see where the canyon goes up. That's where the waterfalls are on the top. You know, and in winter time you have really plenty of water here. The water comes down when the floods runs into this area. That's how the gazelles are going up to the water area. And that's how David actually escaped to En Gedi. That's some of the caves are over there up at the top, where traditional site is known as the site of David. That's why they call this waterfall David's Waterfall. See a big date area. That's one of the big incomes of this kibbutz even today. Dates. Exporting it, and you will see it later on. While we stop, you'll be able to see what we export with it. And those plastic boxes. You have the mud that you can buy here, the mud that you put on with the magnesium in it. That seals you from everything. Put it on the dry bonds and this gets alight. It's really a great thing. The cheapest place you can buy is don't buy it at Masada, buy it here at En Gedi later on when you stop. Masada, it's double price. The mud and the creams from the Dead Sea and all this, you know. These that were open almost like the hot springs of Tiberias is over there, owned by Kibbutz En Gedi, a beautiful place, clean and nice with tiles, beautiful really, with showers and a sulfur pool, and then all going out to the water with the mud. And then you have also a cafeteria style, a big cafeteria, Kibbutz cafeteria, not like in the Kibbutz we were, but the real thing, you will see what I mean. This is really a delightful place, excellent place. So water on it, it gets so slippery, you can't believe it. And we see already Masada, if you look over there. Look at my hand, straight ahead over there, to the right side. The flat, big table
That's
mountain.
Masada.
Looks like a big ship over there, separated from all the other mountains. That's really why Herod the Great chose this place to build a fortress here in the wilderness, so far away from Jerusalem, far away from people that live around. So if the day will come and he will have to escape somewhere, this will be a place where to ran down. This will be a place where nobody can get it. That's why somewhere around 20 BC he gave the order to build a fortress here. He actually built 3 fortresses. He built Masada, across the Dead Sea, another one named Bacteria, so Makeva in Hebrew, and another one not far from Bethlehem, named Herodion. Herodion, that name up itself, yeah. So he built actually 3 fortresses. When this was the biggest one, and the fourth one, and so far away from Jerusalem, that it the Romans will decide together, we'll be able to escape here. If the Jewish people, that he controlled them in the temple area of Jerusalem and created so many trouble to them and so many problems, if they will try together, there's a place where to run down here. And then another problem that he had was the Queen of Egypt, Cleopatra. She was beautiful, she was nice, and she's the Rome, loved her so much, Augustus. And this time, you know, the Roman time, to love somebody means also to give him a kind of a gift. What can the Caesar give her? He could give her, you know, the area of Israel, and who will be killed? Herod the Great. So this was another one of those reasons why this Herod the Great, or the king of this area, decides to build a fortress here in the middle of the wilderness. And he found this place as the best point that he could choose. He came actually from across the Dead Sea, looking across the Dead Sea, through this island that we have over there. On the other side are the mountains of Edom, Edom in Hebrew, Edom, yeah, the mountain of Edom. He was an Edomite. He wasn't a Jew, he wasn't a Roman, he was an Edomite. And he came from there, and he was sent to Rome to study. And he got some friends and influence in the Caesar's palace. And that's how he was sent one.
Now approaching All right, here we are at Masada. Adam, how does it feel?
About to sell the
I personally wanted to walk up this thing
with Erica on his
with Erica on my
Right, so-
shoulders
but
and 20-pound weights on each
We
ankle.
will be taking a cable car, right?
But, much to my regret,
But pull.
we will take
Not exactly
the
roughing it
cable
today.
car.
We missed the car.
We missed the car.
Take a leak,
Same old
buddy.
stuff with this group, I'll tell you.
Walk up, don't get encouraged.
Huh?
Luca, what should we do?
Where's the bathroom?
We're in trouble now.
Some people walk out of the
Okay. Okay, here comes the troop.
Here comes the troops. We're ready.
Okay, Bob.
We're ready for. Stay in the middle of the car. Look up.
Very good, Dad.
Et encore, moi je marchande dans la bagarre pour avoir des prix.
Life in
Et là, ils veulent 70 mots maintenant.
Whoa. All right, here we go.
Moi, j'en ai 60, 67 ou 68. Ah oui.
Whatever, right. And one out of every three don't make it, don't worry about it.
Ça va vite, vous avez. Ça, non. Ah oui, on va faire ça de là-haut.
What? What's the reason? Oh my God, there's a window open right there.
What?
There's windows open right We'll be getting all this, Gene. We're getting clean our
Yeah,
legs.
get it all. Yeah, we could do it. Yep.
la moitié.
Oh no, we're gonna crash into
There's some life up there.
C'est pas bien haut, mais t'as peut-être 200 marches à monter quand même. Oh. Allez, dis-moi.
beaucoup quand même.
C'est des courageux. C'est des courageux.
Non, mais ça arrive.
Moi, j'ai pas
On met même pas 5 minutes.
What he did was it, One thing I go firstly, you don't need a hand.
I have everything in my hand and outside. God is protecting me. The spirit of Masada is protecting me. Masada shall never fall again.
Over here, when you talk to God, it's a local call.
Ils ont marqué France d'urgence, tout à vu sur la télé. Ils ont marqué France.
Boom. Well, how was it? You believe it over there, right?
From Arizona, and this is worse. You dehydrate faster than you realize.
You don't sleep tonight.
Avi didn't listen to me. Avi didn't listen to me. Literally pouring water over.
Yep. There they are on the top of Masada. Two girls. Hi, Erica. Erica, how did it feel climbing that mountain? The mountain of Masada. It was a tough climb.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
I'm great cliff carry.
Dès qu'il tombe quelques gouttes d'eau, le terrain devient imperméable et l'eau va couler. Les cyclones, il y avait 22 et puis
I do love. Take it slow.
Okay, standing here looking over to this side, you will see one of the water cisterns because later on, you know, the problem of how did they get water, all this will come out. Please, here in Masada, we need to be together to listen, otherwise, kaput. So that's how they used to get the water supply into this area, into Masada. And this is one of the good examples, this water system. You see the water channel here is to run in from the floods that they got from the other side, from the mountains, water into this area. And channels used to lead in this water into water cisterns like this. And a few of them were on the top, and this was enough to supply water for this Masada, for the big, you know, fortress that they built here, Herod the Great. Looking over to the other side, you don't see it, but it's hazy, but across the Dead Sea over there, that's actually where the mountains of Edom are, or Edom Mountains. And that's where he came, and that's where he was born, this Herod the Great that built later on this Masada. So we'll go up to the top, we find somewhere to shade and sit there, explain the whole thing, and then we will continue and visit the rocks.
À l'intérieur, il faisait frais pendant le jour et il faisait chaud la nuit. Parce que dans cette région, il fait très chaud le jour, il fait très froid la nuit. Alors, ces murs qui étaient très épais gardaient la fraîcheur à l'intérieur pendant le jour, mais ces murs chauffaient pendant le jour. Et la nuit, ils réchauffaient les pièces à l'intérieur. Et on pouvait alors calculer la chaleur et garder une chaleur constante.
Boy, to take your stick.
Là,
1,200 feet above the Dead Sea and 200 below sea level. You understand what I mean? 1,200 feet above the Dead Sea and 200 below sea level. Below the Mediterranean Sea level. And that's the astonishing thing, you know, you can't believe it sometimes. You come up here, you think that you're on a high point like this, it's really high, but you're still below sea level. And that's really what happens here, that when they decided to build this place, and they chose this place, this was because of one reason, as I mentioned on the bus, because that this doesn't have any connection. The children out over there, sitting over there. So this has no connection with other mountains around, completely separate, and that's why I chose this place. He came here, the first thing was, of course, to get supply of water, you know, for the workers. Now, when Herod the Great came actually to this place, he never came. His workers came, engineers. And when they came here, the first thing was, of course, to supply water to this place. And this water system was built from the other side using a kind of a water junction that when you had some rains coming down from the mountains of Arad, A-R-A-D, the city over there that Joshua captured, this water is to run down into this area, and he built a kind of a junction with a bridge that this floods, or this kind of flash floods, used to run into this area and fill up all those water systems that they built here. And this was enough to exist for a few years. This was the first thing, you know, to build here. Otherwise, you couldn't start to build anything here. Then he comes around and builds the wall. The wall that you see around here, if you look carefully, this is the original wall that he built, this Herod the Great. But who built it actually? Jewish people. Jewish builders. They were the experts. They were not slaves in this time. They got paid, of course. They brought them from Jerusalem, around Jerusalem, Bethlehem, all around. Came here and stayed here for a few years in building for him this facade. So I mentioned before, you know, the reason he built it here was because it's far away from Jerusalem, and being afraid of the Jewish people, you know, that it created so many troubles to them by, for example, killing, you know, the 300 people around the temple area when he captured them over there when they took down the Roman eagle. Many other problems, you know, brought it that he was afraid of the Jewish people, and he was sure that they will come and they will try to get him. On the other side, as I mentioned, the Queen of Egypt, Cleopatra, and the Roman themselves, you know, were trying, you know, to take him out of this area. So those were the three good reasons why he came up to this place and decides to build a fortress far away from Jerusalem, being so sick, being so paranoid, deciding to build here a fortress. Building it with this wall that we are seeing around, with all kind of facilities, the Western Palace, the Northern Palace over there as we see it, the storerooms of food, the synagogue, everything that we go around and watch around, all this was built by Herod the Great. They built it, they finished to build it, they left this area, the Jewish people and the Roman. They left here a kind of a Roman guard to take care of it. They filled up the storerooms of food with all kind of food. Which kind of food can it be? Figs, dates, olive oil, all kind of food that you could store, you know, in this kind of storerooms. Covered it and left it like this, But nobody came here to this place since King Herod died in 4 BC. King Herod died. Nobody cared about this place. Nobody paid attention to a place so far away from Jerusalem in the middle of the desert. Who comes down to this area? Till about the Jewish revolt against Rome. And this Jewish revolt started, you know, in 66 AD in Caesarea and continued later on and went all over the country. When the end of it was actually in Jerusalem, when the temple was destroyed in 70 AD. But then after it, all kind of families, some of them those Canaim, the Zealots, we know, with their families, children, escaped from Jerusalem, ran to the wilderness, around to the desert, and then they knew about a place that is here named Masada, or Masad, as Josephus Flavius described it, that is far away in the desert, but a good place, you know, to find where to hide yourself, you know, if the enemy is running after you. And that's how actually they came up to this place somewhere around 72 AD. Came up here, killed the Roman guard, attacked them, surprised them from two sides, from here and from the other side, and took over this place. They were sure that the Roman would come after them. They were sure because, you know, the order was in the country that as ever there's a group of Jewish people together, you have to get them, bring them in, force them to worship to the Roman, you know, gods and all this. So they were sure that they will come and they will come after them. And this day really came. They prepared themselves with everything, but this day really came with this commander of the Roman, with the 10th Roman Legion, 10,000 soldiers. It was stationed usually around the city of Jerusalem, this Roman Legion, the 10th Roman Legion. They took them, those 10,000 soldiers, 5,000 Jewish slaves with carrying the supply for food and water for those 10,000 Roman soldiers. They came to this area, surrounded this place from all around, and you will see later on, when you look down, you'll see the Roman camps, the big square yards that are the original Roman camps. The only one thing that is missing is the tents, you know, that they used to put inside, in the center of those square yards. But those are the 7, 8 Roman camps that we have around this place. They put a siege against the Masada. They were sure that after a few weeks, you know, what could they do here? They would give up. They didn't know one thing, that they had everything here. The water was here, food was here, the spirit was strong believers, you know, those Canaim, strong believers. They left Jerusalem because of this reason, you know, not to be alive, not to fall alive into the hands of the Romans, not to serve them in their temples. That's one of the good reasons, you know, why they actually escaped to this place. So what could be better than this? Everything was arranged, they were ready for it, for the siege, for everything. And they never wanted to give up. And after a few weeks, when the commander saw that nothing happens, you know, he could understand how can it be, you know, the people can exist here in the middle of the desert, in this kind of climate. Today it's nice, you have the breeze. But it's really burning, 120 in the shade here. How could they exist there? He could hear them praying in the synagogue over there. His camp was, you know, the commander of the Roman, Flavius Silva. His camp was on the other side. And you hear it very well in this kind of desert. You hear everything all around. He could hear them praying in the synagogue. He could hear them jumping into the water cisterns over there. The children laughing, smiling, and being happy. He couldn't understand how can it be that people, you know, in this kind of area could still exist. Of course, what happened that later on, he decides to do something, you know, to be stuck here, it's, where's the end for it, you know? And he was a famous Roman commander, and they needed him in Rome over there. And the Caesar is sending letters and telegrams saying, okay, where are you? You promised me that this is a matter of a few days, and you are stuck there already a few months. And that's really what happened, that he decides to do something. And he went to the other side, to the west. You see, if here it's 1,200 feet from the lowest point down, over there to the west, it's only 600 feet from the bottom. So he decides to build up a kind of a road. That's what we call later on the Roman ramp. And on top of it, he brought in a kind of a war machine, a battery machine, and he started to attack the wall from this side. When he attacked the wall and saw what's going on, you know, and the people saw what's going on here, the zealots and all the family and everything, they started to build behind this wall a wooden wall, a two double wooden wall. They filled it up with little rocks, like over there, little stones and rocks and sand and everything that he could find. And the moment this catapult, or the battery machine, used to hit the first wall, the second one, you know, became much more faster and stronger because the rocks and the sand, everything went down and made it faster. So, and this was so flexible that this used to hit back this kind of catapult or battery machines. And they found out that, they have to deal with this smart commander here. And this Jewish commander, actually, Elazar ben Yair, was really smart. He was smart. He was known as one of the good commanders in the area of Jerusalem. And he knew the Roman. He knew this Flavius Silva. He knew that you can't trust him. And that's one of the things, when they used to shout up, this Roman commander to him. Come down, why should we fight? Come down, we make a deal, something. And we release you and everything. So he said, yeah, I had the experience already with you. You once promised me the same thing. It took me to jail later on. And that's how I escaped and came up to this place. So I don't trust you anymore. And that's really how it happened, that they had to fight. And they fought. When they were building the Roman ramp, they rolled down rocks and hot oil, boiling oil, and fought with everything that is possible. Of course, after the wall was built and after everything was arranged, they attacked the wall, and actually they burned it later on. They set fire in the wall, in the wooden wall, because they couldn't do anything else. So they set fire in the wooden wall and burned it. In the morning when they started to do it, the wind was blowing from the east to the west and burned the faces of the Roman officers. And they saw it as a sign of God, that God is, with them, with the Jewish people. But later on in the afternoon, the wind changed a little bit, and it's blowing to this side. And that's actually how they burned the whole area, and the wall was open, and they could come in. And this was actually the sign for the Roman to come up, but somehow they left it for the next morning. And when the people here saw what's going on, they saw that the end is coming. They felt that that's it. We did everything, we fought, we did everything to survive here. We escaped from the Roman, from Jerusalem, not to be slaves in their hands over there. And they came after us. So as he said, this commander, Elazar ben Yair, the Jewish commander, said, what we escaped from came after us. They're running after us, and they will not let us, alive here on this mountain. The reason that they really bothered them so much here was that the Roman knew that if you have a group of Jewish people together, a small group, another month they will be much bigger. Another 2 months, more bigger and bigger and bigger, and this will create another revolt against the Roman. This was proved later on in the revolt against the Roman Bar Kokhba revolt. 132, 135 was another revolt. That they gathered around in the mountains, soldiers and the people, and they attacked the Roman. But so they knew that this is it, the end is coming. And that's really what made it that later on this commander of the Jewish people gathered them all together somewhere around this place and gave them a speech that according to Josephus Flavius, this book, you read what he said to them, my friends, the Romans are trying to take us as slaves, to take our daughters to serve in their pagan temples. They try to do everything. We did everything that is possible already. We did everything we could do. And as we see it, the end is very close. They will come up. Tomorrow morning, they will come up. So what we can do is only one thing. Each one of us will take his children, will take his wife, kill them, and then each one of us, the commanders, will kill the other till the last one, will kill himself. And this is the only one solution we can have. And according what we know and understand, there were some arguments going around, but most of them agree about it, except about 3 women and 4 children. That's what's written over there. They were afraid to die, and they hide themselves one of the places here. And that's actually how the whole story came out later on, how we knew about it, because of those evidence that we had from those women and children that were afraid to die. And that's really what happened. Each one of them killed his family, killed the children, killed himself, and committed suicide. This was 73 AD, the end for Masada. And the next morning, the Roman soldiers were ready to come up, and they started to climb up. The way was open. Nobody tried to block them. Nobody tried to stop them because there was nobody here. We're surprised to come in like this, into this area, going into the first buildings and seeing those bodies of children and women and the zealots around, all those Canaim around, and that's actually how the end came to Masada. A sad end, but this was a terrible experience also for the commander of the Roman, this Flavius Silva. This famous commander was one of the best the Roman had in this time. Came up ready to kill, ready to take over, and here everything was dead. Nobody moved. He got so angry, he got so, frustrated. He left this area. He left back, gave order not to touch anything, and left, and never came back to Masada. He didn't want to hear about Masada in 73 AD. This was really the end, the sad end, but the end for a long time of fighting in the country against the Roman. And since this end in 73 AD, people really didn't fight against the Roman till 135, when the big revolt started later on. And this gave a symbol for Israel, this Masada became a symbol that you don't give up, you never give up. And that's the reason why today, every few months you have soldiers coming from different units in the Israeli army, and they come up, they walk up here at night with torches in their hands along this path that we saw, coming up here in the big square, standing around with a big sign, fire sign that says Masada shall never fall again, which means you never give up again. You don't give up, you don't depend on anyone, only on yourself. And this shows you that what we discussed in the bus, that this kind of committing suicide, it's not exactly the solution of the Jewish belief and everything. That's why the big arguing was going around, if this was really the right thing to do, or to fight, till the end, and even if they would take us, to the Roman pagan temples and all this. But Masada really became a strong symbol, and during the 6-Day War, you could hear it, all around the borders. Masada shall never fall again. You don't give up. They're coming against you more than you, don't give up. Masada is really an important side, a symbol. And in 1961, 62, 3 and 4, Professor Yigal Yadin from the Hebrew University came up here with hundreds and thousands of volunteers that came from all over the world. They lived on the other side, down in little tents. They used to come up every morning, climbing up, digging, excavating, trying to find the history of the Jewish nation that was covered by those almost 2,000 years of rocks and everything that was covered here. But he wasn't the first time actually that excavated here. He was the first time to excavate, Professor Yigal Yadin. But Wilson, a British excavator in 1866 already. 1866 came on the Dead Sea on a boat, stopped over there and looked over to this side and saw, as we saw it from the past, this kind of table mountain. And he saw it, this reminded him, what Josephus Flavius is writing in his book, The Jewish War Against the Roman, that there's a place somewhere in the wilderness, in the desert, named Masada. Looked at it, he was sure that this is it, but he never had, manpower and everything and money, to excavate so much here up far away in the desert. Only after Israel was established, and after we organized the newcomers in the country and all this, then we had the time to start to uncover it, excavate it, and to do it exactly as you see it. Now what we uncovered here is exactly what is described in this book of Josephus Flavius. The measures, the size and everything. This shows you that he wrote the book not, from a kind of imagination or something. He wrote it exactly as he saw it and heard it, and maybe, evidence of people and all this. And today what we, if you look around, you look back a little bit, you see over the next to the gate as we came in, see a black line. And this black line is marking you exactly, how they found it. On this level, the black line, this was found like this. And above it, this was reconstructed, rebuilt, so you can understand which kind of building was it. It makes it much easier for you to understand what was it. We walk around and show you everything really, and you understand what I mean. Okay, you have some questions?
How long did the whole siege take?
It took for a few months only, because in the meantime we're fighting here and there, but then I would say from 72 until 73, almost a year. You can take some water here. It's fresh, sweet water, spring water before we go.
Wash your
And then
face.
go out.
No, wash your face here.
Okay, we start with the storerooms of food. באמת? לא צוחק, כן. רואה לי את הקווין שלי, אתה רואה מה אני עובד, אני לא רגיל מלך.
איפה היית?
פותחים אותם. במערב.
יש ציפיות?
כן. יהיה טוב בספטמבר,
כן?
בדצמבר הלאה יהיה חזק.
נו, טוב. Entonces, lo que es...
Everything, you see? The quarry, that's the quarry. That's the beginning of all this kind of building here on top of Masada. This was like over there, you see? They chiseled out the rocks and everything, took them out, and became like a cave even, you know, because of it. Take out. But that's the beginning of Masada, and that's where we are coming in. They're coming in mostly, you know, to the storerooms of food. Look at the black line, you see the black line here? See how it runs? All over, wherever you go, you see this kind of black line. It marks the whole thing. You were here before, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the quarries here. The whole area was destroyed. So they found it like this, ruins, like over there. And they started cleaning, digging. They marked you till here. Unless they go here, they found it like this. So they will mark you the black line. And above it, they built it. Okay, so we stop here.
A part of the storerooms has been left unexcavated in ruins as to give you a picture.
Now, if you look at this, how we found it actually when this was destroyed by the earthquake in 747. It was a big earthquake, destroyed the whole area. That's how we found it. And then digging and cleaning out, and we show you actually how we found this kind of storeroom, how it was before the destruction. Let's go in. Don't get mixed up with other groups. Stay together. Ooh. Yeah, I got you. Look at it, see how they found it. You see again here. Go ahead. See it here? Okay. Everything will collapse like this, you see?
One of the storerooms, you see, in the midst of this room over here, there are 3 holes. In this hole, we found traces of pottery, and here, these holes were located huge jars stuffed with clay jars. So, traces of meat, traces of the jar, traces of seeds of dates were found here. So we know that he was stored. There we go. Let's go here, please.
I'm going to take it back.
Okay, now this is a good example of one of those storerooms of food. Before they were destroyed, before everything collapsed down and they uncovered all this, like we saw it over there. That's how it looked like. This was covered, of course, by palm date trees and to keep it in the shade. It was locked here. All this was food, covered with food, mostly dry food, you know. It's kind of dry food, and you'll be surprised to hear that we found here seeds. Seeds of olive, seeds of dates, you know, covered the corners. We even found pottery coins like tokens or something. But when they used to receive the food from those storerooms, it was according to how many people were in the family. That's how they came into this area and received it from here. Now if you look carefully here, you see the stone. Look at this, a tet 1 in Hebrew. Those who read Hebrew, this is a tet, this is a chat. Tet 1. Here we have a tet 2. Open it so they can see it. See, tet 2. Over there is tet 3. They couldn't bring the columns like to Caesarea on the sea from Rome or somewhere else. So difficult, you know, to climb up to this place enough without carrying anything. So they had to build them here actually. And that's what we find, you know, that they built actually here everything, and here was the base. Okay? On this base came tet 1, then tet 2, tet 3, and that's how they got columns. And who did it? Jewish people. Otherwise, who will mark it with Hebrew letters? Roman? So the best proof, what we read in this book of Josephus Flavius, that they built it. They were the expert for mosaic floors. They were the experts for building. They got paid for it. They were slaves. And that's how we found all this around here, completely covered and covering it, cleaning. And that's how it looked like, you know, when we found all those jars, broken jars and everything. Look into the, not the first, the second storeroom again of food, so you understand what I mean. All this was destroyed by the earthquake in 747. It was a big earthquake that covered the whole thing.
They must have had Navy men up here.
That the Hatzstein.
Dat een match, is er een Hayal Ayam. In tattoos.
Helayam, but that's it.
Came here in 73.
Kid, look at this, how they clean it, desalinating, and all this. Look at the jars and everything.
How long did they live up here?
Who? The people?
The Jewish for
Almost a year.
almost a year.
This is all yours.
No,
It's not that
because
basket.
tourists, you know,
But the excavator, the archaeologists lived up here for years. Because this is what they uncovered after the earthquake. This was covered for like 1,000 years.
Why don't you all turn around? Let me get a group picture.
Jars.
Carol, everybody, Erica, Zachy, Greg. Greg,
Ian, watch your head.
Just turn your head out.
Turn your head out.
it's easy to say, you know, straight up to the instruction, Jerusalem.
All right, go back to looking.
Wait, Bob.
Bob, what's sitting with the kids? Come on.
One more.
Come on, Zachary, look at Bob. Look at Bob's camera.
Zachary,
Come on out.
put
We
your
wanna
face
see
in here.
So people
Zachary,
will-
where are you? There you are. Hey.
Okay,
Okay.
take a look and let's go up here to this side. It's a big area of storerooms of food. This was enough to exist for a long, long time. You can see it. Yeah. Children stay together. Now let's move.
Remember, see which year they
They came here?
No, I know, but why did they
Yeah,
remember?
huh?
Ah,
They
well,
put the columns together. They couldn't
to know
carry
which is coming after what.
it.
When they build one, when you do a piece, you want to mark it so to know how to put it together, puzzle or something, eh? That's how you did it. So the palace is, you know,
Greg, you're wrong.
Too many people there. Let's go up first to the right panoramic view.
You know who gave us our first tour here? Yocheved.
Oh, yeah?
All right.
She brought Yigal Yadin's book.
Where's the boy?
In 1970,
Name?
he had published already. She
Oh,
brought
yeah,
the big
okay.
book.
You just come here, so
She explained everything in such great detail. She's a teacher. And she's an excellent teacher.
Okay, Arlene, grab the baby. אבל מתי זה בדיוק? Mama's hand.
That's all my hand.
And that's the Bible.
So she took a shot at the
Ian? Mine's happening.
Greg, I don't like you over
I
there.
don't like that. Get over here. Oh my God, it's somebody could be walking. I like get away from the end. Don't do that. It makes me nervous. Away. Away. Wow. I don't like the space. Go over there where the bars are. I don't like that space.
Is it true, Marty? Yeah. You see? Oh,
It's in the book.
it's written. It is written.
Everything is written.
It is written. Follow it down. Don't miss him over there. Fine. This way.
Oh, Erica, no.
This is a good way for those who are afraid of heights and all this. Ah, you're here. Come on.
זה היוונית שבא ממטב.
Missed that.
Where are we? Where's everybody?
הוא רואה.
What?
קודם הוא אפילו לא
Look
שמע.
down this way here. Come. Look down this way here, Jimmy. On this side. It's just, you know, stones put together. But those were the camps. Those were the Roman camps around this Masada. Oh, you see one, two, you see three. You see another one over there. And then what do you see along the camps? Running what? A line. You see a line? Soldiers were stationed along this line to put, you know, an eye and to be sure that nobody escapes from here. That's how they protect the whole area. That's how the siege was against
Those
Lysa.
squares, Cliff?
Yeah, the squares, yeah.
All around.
And you see the other can?
Cliff, what's
And
your
nobody
finger?
wanted to escape
You see the
because they
big
didn't need to
campfire
escape. They had
by-
everything here. They had the water, they had the food. The spirit was strong, so what do you need to escape from? Only one reason was later on, you know, when they started to come up, this was the problem. But look over. You see the Dead Sea, you see the kind of a tongue, the dry area, a half island in the Dead Sea. Across is of course Jordan already, it's not in Israel. You look to this side, or a bit more to this side, you look over to Sodom and Gomorrah. It's hazy, but you see the mountains. You see the plane? Look up, you see the jet? Go straight down from the jet down to the ground. That's where Sodom and Gomorrah is. There we have Sodom and Gomorrah, Amorah as we call it. And that's where Lot's wife, you know, became a pillar of salt. Turned back, she wanted to know everything, to see everything. And later on God turned over the potash industry, you know, that we are making a lot of money. It's really 3 ships working 2,000 workers there. It's one of the biggest companies that Israel has, really today. Never lost money. They never lost money. This is unusually for Israel. There's so many companies that are always losing money.
Was any of those Roman camps excavated, or that's the way?
Yeah, they found all kind of Roman coins in them and all this. You know,
But I'm thinking, you know, if people went over in airplanes, why didn't they see this?
they saw it.
They just never.
Yeah, and people came and looked for coins and everything, but nobody had the money, you know, to excavate like Israel later on, 1961, 62.
You need big manpower.
They used to work here with bathing suits, sitting here, and the summer, you know, burning.
Was this part of Israel before the 6 Day War?
Yeah, from Engedi.
This line of
From
stone
Engedi was Israel.
remain of
From Engedi and back, on the way up to Jerusalem, this was still Jordan, 19 years ago. Before it, this was open again for us, you know.
We above sea level.
Yeah, what?
We above sea level.
You are above the Dead Sea, 1,200 feet. Below sea level, 200 feet. You
below the
understand?
Mediterranean, where you went swimming in Tel Aviv.
When you went to swim.
100 feet higher.
We will come to the sea level of the Mediterranean, exactly. Okay?
Also need 1,400 feet.
Exactly. Okay, let's go over to this. In this kind of soil, when the water is coming from the mountain cutting through the soil, you see what happens? Like those kind of beautiful figures, palaces, and as ever you can imagine yourself, you know, it's there. And that's, you know, because of the floods running in like this into the Dead Sea. Looking straight over there, you see that's where Engedi is. That's where they used to get the supply of water from there, in the beginning. The soldiers, the Roman soldiers around, you know, they had to send the Jewish people to carry the water from there, all the way from Engedi and up to this area.
New home of McDonald's.
Now
Look at
we are
that.
on the highest point
Right
here
over
of
there.
the Northern Palace, the highest
I
point.
got that on
It
there.
has
I
3
got
levels actually, the Western Palace. And this was the palace for Herod the Great himself, you know, the luxury place, the beautiful place with a beautiful mosaic over there. It's not so nice preserved, but they still have some beautiful mosaic there. Let's go into the center. That's why he built for himself, you know, this kind of palace. When you imagine yourself, this was covered. Looking out through this side, you had the breeze from the north coming, and you had the breeze here. I personally, you know, experienced here this
Yeah, I
kind
know,
of
it's
breeze.
overwhelming
You look
over
to
here.
this side, you're getting hot. You look over to this side, you get the breeze. And supply water sometimes to this place, they had to carry it from caves around here on the side of the slope of the hill. And those were storerooms also of food, especially for this place, for the palace, for the Northern Palace of Herod the Great. Then we see over there the big The big camp of Flavius Silva, the commander of the Roman.
Yeah.
Here.
Where is that?
That's the big commander's camp. He could see what's going on, he could hear it and everything, you know. And then who asked me, where's, you asked me about the skeletons and so on. Okay. Now here at this place that we are standing, we found some of the skeletons. Here, of the Jewish people that commit suicide, here. And they were buried all together in this cemetery of the Zillah. See the cemetery over there? See the brown hill? The little brown hill down? On the right, down here. That's the cemetery. That's the Kanaim, the Zillah cemetery as we call it. And the rabbis came here. They took them all together and put it in one big tomb over there, and they call it the tomb of the Kanaim. How can you find out?
Garage.
Down there where they sell T-shirts, that's to make one of
Which is the spot for the dry bones?
City? Right behind the
Yeah, we are going to the show, yeah, to the city.
old Leah's.
The piece of Ezekiel 37.
Well, yeah, someone will excavate that stuff.
Look around over here, see a piece of mosaic there to the other side and everything. You can see it from there. Nice to meet you, Zach. Found the room.
Outside of the fortification, down to the second tier, and then again down.
The mosaic here is
That's how long the Jews were.
Right.
But what makes you think that that's the time when they did that? It might have been, the one before when they built it.
Matthew, when was this mosaic done?
The last few years we don't go down anymore.
I wasn't going to go down. I've been really
Last few years we don't go down.
When was the mosaic
We
done?
went to the palace
In about 10 BC.
on a stone path
10 BC.
that I almost died.
That's right.
I want to say
They should have done it.
They
Yeah.
didn't have the resources.
Well, they didn't have time for that. They had other things on their mind besides that.
that's the path.
That's what I said. I turned around and I said,
I want you to know that I held on stones all the way
he's sweating just thinking of reliving that experience.
You went down here like this?
Yeah.
No. No.
Terrified, oh, yeah.
Here's the path now.
What's the Roman way?
No, that's the,
Well, that's the path down? You see the ramp and everything, the Roman ramp straight ahead of you. You see it over there, but here you have a point.
That's open, Dad. That's open.
Caves.
So that can.
don't go down.
We went to the northern palace
Yeah, I went.
all the way down.
Who took you down like this?
Who knows?
We did everything.
Yeah, I went down.
Santa Catarina, we did everything.
4 days.
No, Gene, watch it fall. Get it fall.
No, you may hit all the people down below.
No, Anna, ready?
No.
Ready? Get it. Get it.
Boop. Next. Ian boy.
Yeah.
Ian, you ready? You and Greg ready to excavate in the years to come?
Scoot up and
Let's go.
Now he wants to take a bath. At night you can't get him in a tub. Now he wants to take a bath.
Okay, now wait. Okay, here, this is the Roman bathhouse. Roman bathhouse is, look around, this is actually the room how they used to come in. Over there was so beautiful decorated with mosaic and 3 columns at the entrance. And they used to come in, sit here around. He's sitting here, taking off the clothes. Here were tiles. Covering the whole beautiful tiles, marble tiles. What happened is that the nomads, the Bedouins, they loved it so much, they took it off and took it to their tents. They used it here too, you see on the floor. Part of it was picked up at them. The fresco that you see there is originally almost 2,000 years old. Look at the color. 2,000 years like this. We had here those diggers, the excavators from Italy, Italian. They were all kinds, from all over the world, volunteers. And here Italian experts used to put glue, injections of glue into this wall to keep it like it is. Otherwise, this will fall off in a few years. And you see how they found it actually. You see the black line again? Still here they found it. The roof actually protected the whole area because the roof collapsed and covered it. And that's how we could find it. Like this, so we built a new roof and everything. Here we have, look at this. In the middle of the Roman bathhouse is a kind of a strange piece here built in. You see the walls around like a little pool. You see it? This has nothing to do with the Roman. This was built after the time of the Jewish people that built it. The Jewish people built it somewhere around 20 BC.
Thank you.
This was built.
Well, but look at it. It adds light. This I don't know if his does not. Mine adds light.
Yeah.
Did you have an intensifier?
No.
This thing is incredible. It's very well. It's a March '86 production.
You don't have to carry the whole thing.
It's.
See what they do now?
Yeah.
I've been aware of that one.
I'm lucky. I got it just before coming.
Okay, watch your head here. Don't break the stones. We need.
But I can't believe the intensifier.
That's full.
Yeah. It's nice.
Take a look. What you pick up in terms of.
You can always have
You have a battery conserver also?
Yeah, I get the batteries.
Is there a standby mode?
What's that?
You have a standby mode?
I have the battery charger. That's about it.
This thing has a little gizmo.
Okay, come in, so we
to
can
turn it on, but not use power. So I'm on standby.
Right.
Woo.
An earthquake?
Sonic booms.
Boom.
Don't worry, it's not that you're living in the pilot. He's sick today. Friday. That's, I think, it is really sounds like the boom is Jewish. This is Chica la Bumba. It's something else. It's Bumba. So you see, this is the big room. The most important room here in the Roman bathhouse. And you look carefully, you see on those little pillars that are made of brick stone. They had a floor. You see the piece of floor, the remains of it. Over there was what? No, come on. Huh? No. The fire came in from there, the oven.
Get up the
Fire, they used to put in acacia trees and everything to burn fire under the floor and throwing in under the floor, hot. Air with the fire. And they used to stand on top of this floor with tiles all around and pouring cold water on the floor. And the steam went up. Steam bath, the Roman bath. So everybody thinks, the Turkish bath is, the most modern thing that was developed. And you have to go back to the Roman, actually. They started it. They loved it so much. They used to go with acacia trees, bushes and heating on the back. This was a kind of a massage they used to do. And they loved it so much. They used to decide who to kill, who to say what country to capture. Everything was discussed in this kind of Roman bathhouses. This was one of the enjoyable things that they liked so much. The Roman. You see again here, this was completely destroyed. You see the remains of black signs of fire there. They had plenty of trees and wood here because of the building of this Masada. This wasn't the window there, this was completely blocked. Here was a closed door. Used to come in like we came in, enjoying here and going back through the tempest room, into the cold water, jumping into the pool, and then to change again and going out from the other side. See, the roof is completely new.
Gene, like the woman has, the glasses, outfielders wear them?
Oh, right. Flip ups and downs.
I just thought I haven't taken a picture in a long time. Well, now there's like
Oh, mistakes.
I'm not taking these rocks. Daddy has it on because when he comes back, we'll see another rock.
Somebody opened the window there.
Yeah,
Now
stay
you
in the
wonder.
shade. Exactly. Don't scratch that. Come here, baby. Get in here, darling.
No, don't go in. That's why they put the shade.
Jackie, don't do that.
The breeze here. Okay. The rest of it off. Yeah. This way, yeah.
This way. Let's go.
Oh, come on now. Stop with the rock. Really. There's people here, you know? What?
קוקי קח בצק בשר, קוקי קח, בלי לחם. במים האלה, זה בשנייה. רק שם יש לו. לכי שם, הנה את כל האנשים. תביא את הפנים הפעם, נגמר. אז תביא גם לרחלי, אבל לא לשלוף את הרגליים. לא, מה פתאום? לא, היא רוצה לשלוף את הרגליים שלך לשם. לשם, אנחנו נדבר. לא מה שווה. עכשיו ברירה היא כבר להתנגות. עם הקליפה.
Nice dog.
Video.
Dump it over your head. Quick. It's leaking. Dump it over your head. Dump it over your head. Ready, go. I'm just letting it drain out.
Come on, Ian, put it over your head.
Palace here. You look at this plaster. 2,000 years old. Decorated like this. This was the guarding room. That's where the guard used to sit, protect the entrance, taking care of it.
This is the original.
It's originally, 2,000 years like this, reserved for nice and beautiful.
Why don't they send the American mechanics to come and see how it's made? This would be.
Okay, let's go to the yeshiva. We go to the synagogue a little bit to pray. The way up, So that's another one, and you see how the water is coming from the channel over there from the other side, running in slowly to the little pool and then slowly in into the big one. They made it so that the water will not create a hole, in the bottom, and the water will disappear. Now look at the plaster, how they did it, So the water will stay in this kind of water cisterns. All this was covered, only here was a little entrance, down to the water. And this earthquake in 747 actually shake the whole thing and open it so we could see it from the top. But this is one of the small ones, that we had. The first one on the way up, you could see the big one. Was a very big one. Another dog? Where are you going? Stay here. Don't leave. Wake up.
I like it. Yeah, I can.
Down the shade a little bit. Here in the shade.
You don't want to get too much. Want to put this on? One, this. Put on.
Here, Zach, over here.
Women on the other side. Not when they came up, you know, on the siege here and all this. Not the 960 people that came up here, you know, with Elazar ben Yair, but the Jewish people that came to build here everything on the top of Masada. They built this synagogue in the beginning. Synagogue, and it's the most ancient synagogue ever found on this side, you know, when we excavated here. What we found here is here inside, the center where the Torah book was there, where the Holy Ark was. We found a piece of scroll. Then we found another piece of scroll that talks about the prophecy of the dry bones from Ezekiel 37, you know. This was found here by a man that excavated, he was from Arad, you know, up on the mountain, the city of Arad. Came here and excavated. In 1964, this made a lot of noise when they found this piece of, you know, scroll that talks about the prophecy of the dry bones of Ezekiel. And this was found actually in the Gniza here. The Gniza, the storage place. You know, when you can't read any more Bible, you don't throw it out just like this. You have to bury it somewhere. And that's how they buried it here. This corner was actually used later on, this part, for the women. You know, separating the man from the women. Like in a synagogue, there's Rat Nashim. So this was this corner. But originally it wasn't built like this when the women weren't here. When those people built everything for the Romans here on top of Masada. See the size of it, it's not so big, but you know, it's still a nice synagogue that they used here and they prayed here. And later on, during the revolt, when the siege was on here, the commander could hear them, one second, the commander could hear them from here. If you look down, you see the camp, the big camp of Flavi Silva is down this side. So they could hear them praying here, and that's how they knew it, that they still exist, they are alive, and nothing happened to them. Even all, you know, all this siege and everything that is surrounded.
This is under the floor. Can you read it?
Yeah, I can get it.
We found fragments of scrolls, a part of the Geniza, including the vision of the dry bones, Ezekiel chapter 37. Oh, he just ran through here, that little announcer. He just ran up here through there.
My eldest son is from it. Yeah, I was wondering why we couldn't smoke.
They gave you the time. What time was it? About this time, yeah?
Wait, you gotta get me in. Can we go back to the boat? Anytime. Greg, move.
What's that?
Zach, smile. Greg, clean a little photo, Greg. Smile, Zach.
Here's Zachy Gibbs,
Let me get a good picture.
one of the original archaeologists to discover this temple
Ian, look up.
on...
Ian.
Here's Zachy. Come here, Zach.
Zachy, smile. Smile, Zach. No, don't do that. Don't say go. Oh, he looks... Well, give me that smile, Zach. I can see through it. Zachy.
Zachy, where's my cup, bro?
Here they are,
I got it.
the archaeology team. And there he is, the head archaeologist, Adam Gibbs. Adam, how's it feel to be discovering the temple for the first time?
Great.
On top of Masada.
I've been working on this all my life.
I know, I'll tell you something. We worked on it.
No, not yet. Look down, you see here, look it down. You see the Roman ramp. The Roman ramp. And that's actually how they built it. You see what happened here on this side. On this side exactly here, look at my hand here, over there, was this kind of a bridge that was leading in water into this area. What they did, they put this tower that they built on the top, they filled up this area. All this that we see here wasn't here. You see this hill? This is dirt and rocks and everything that they found all around. They filled it up like this. On the top of it, they put this kind of tower. On the tower, this battery machine, and that's how they attacked the wall from this side over there. And that's how they went in later on, actually. And that's what took them, you know, here it's so difficult to build because the Jewish people were standing here and shooting and attacking, and they didn't let them just like this build. So many of the 10,000 Roman soldiers that were stationed here were killed during this kind of building the ramp. And then many of the Jewish suppliers, you know, slaves that helped them to do it were stationed also here around this place. Here was an interesting point, you know, according to what we understand, when the Romans were short of water. You know, all the water came from En-Gedi. They had to carry it. Until they got here, they poured half of the water on the road somewhere. So they came here, they had the short of water. They could give them a glass of water for the whole day. And here they had everything. So what they used to do, they used to scream, shout down and saying to the Roman soldiers, you see, your commanders brought you here to die. Because we have everything. We have the food, we have the wine, we have everything, we have the water. You don't have anything. They used to pour down water down against them. You know, they were thirsty and hungry and everything, and here they pouring down water. So this destroyed them, killed them a little bit spiritually, you know. And they started to run. We know that they ran away. Many of the Roman soldiers started to run away, and the officers had to do only one thing: they killed them. They killed them, and this gave an example to the others not to do it. Otherwise, they would lose the whole army, you know, the 10th Roman Legion that was stationed here around and guarding it. Now, what we see here actually looks straight ahead of you. First, you see the cemetery. You see the cemetery in front of you, the little cemetery of the zealots here. And then if you continue straight behind the cemetery, you see the wooden brown pieces you see on wheels. You see? Straight ahead, they're over there, next to the green shack. Those are the war machines. All kinds of stone throwers, catapults, everything that they had, the Roman, is there. Of course, this is not the original one. This is only for the ABC, NBC who filmed here the movie. So they came here, they were stationed here on this side, and that's how they filmed it, around this area. They had a big truck of Coca-Cola, a big, you know, auto car, a long one of Coca-Cola stationed here. All those weeks that they were filming here.
Where are the machines?
Over there.
The green shed over there.
Next, before the green shack.
I see them now.
You see with the big wheels, catapult.
No,
They lost 10,000 soldiers,
No, they came with 10,000 soldiers around this place with 5,000 Jewish slaves they brought here to help them to build everything. So they lost, you know, they lost big numbers here. They're fighting around, rolling down rocks and all this, you know, by the Jewish people.
Cemetery? I didn't quite follow.
This one, the brown one.
Yeah. Oh, this.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You see the road over there? This road goes all the way up to the mountains, like this. To get to this road, we can't get there. With a car, you know, we have to drive all around the mountains, where the parking place we are, all around the mountains over there. To get here, it takes you about an hour and a half.
Where would that road take you?
This takes you up to Arad, the city of Arad, A-R-A-D, and from there to Beersheba. This is actually what we call the Negev, the dry part of the country, the Negev, you know.
And they call it a TV program, Miami Vice. They shoot everybody.
Yeah, that's everybody sees Miami, yeah.
What?
Here, to your right. To your right.
That's incredible.
Non. Donc on est ici au palais central de Masada. Le palais nord étant un palais retiré, un palais privé, un tout petit palais d'ailleurs. Tandis qu'ici il y avait quand même de grandes pièces. Vous avez vu toutes ces entrées, tous ces murs qui étaient placés là. On monte à l'étage pour le voir.
No, Israel está pre-bizantino. Por eso está interesante.
How much would you give for that mosaic to roll it up and take it home?
Yeah, well, this is another one. This is another one. Now, see here, this was one of the floors here, the floors of the western part.
I don't know if they're well like
Look at the mosaic, look at the color and everything, you see? One of the nice, beautiful mosaics that we found here on top of Masada. Facilities behind us, facilities like bathrooms, Also with mosaic, so beautiful decorated. They had in the center something here like a fireplace that they made, you know. The women when they came out, they had to eat meals or something, so they built up around this mosaic, the fireplace. So it has nothing to do with the time of the room, and it was after it, you know, built after when the Jewish people came up to this first.
These are bathhouses?
Yeah, bathhouses. There's the toilets over there. That's the western part.
And what was this part of the palace?
This was the here. Also.
It's hard. It's bigger. Look at it. You can jump up further side.
I thought we were at the end.
How old could this possibly be?
It goes back to the Israeli period a few months ago. Somebody came and put a candle around the mud.
Handmade. All right, did you see, Mother? See the yellow house? This is the one. Just started when we come up to the second one. She decided to stop there, I think.
Watch your step, man. Running.
Piece of cake.
Okay, here. You want to crawl around the
We're now going to the Engedi Spa, right off of the Dead Sea, to cure all of our illnesses, aches and pains, and rehabilitate ourselves for the new year ahead. Okay, I hope this stuff really works. I will be doing some serious relaxing today. Wading in the Dead Sea. Let me see these people sitting. They say to be careful because the Dead Sea has 33% salt, so make sure it doesn't go into your eyes. Therefore, don't swim or go underwater. Okay, it's lunchtime. Attaboy. Good, take a good picture. Thanks, Phil.
Jackie, you want to put my hat on? You have to. So cool.
But I have to wear my key, Daddy.
Let me see.
Key on. I put my key on, Dad.
That hat looks pretty funky.
Why else put my key on, Dad? Put my key on.
What? About another 5 minutes. Yeah.
Zachy Gibbs. Good, Zachy.
See
have a sofa bath there?
Yeah, they
Huh?
think.
They said nobody with a heart condition, what they said, should go in there. Must be a strain.
I wouldn't go in there anyway.
No entrance for women.
Yeah. Orthodox.
Is that what they have there?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Oh. Look at that guy with the mud on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at it. He looks like wearing...
Jackie, come this way.
It's not muddy, just dark.
Yeah, oh, right from New York.
Look at
You want to put it on me?
Yeah, you would.
You would. You want to make things muddy? Yeah.
Here we have all these people trying to do they're applying, they're interviewing for an Al Jolson movie.
Located in Israel.
Mommy. I walk a million miles for one of your smiles, my mommy. Here we have the guy with the hat. He won the contest.
This guy really's got the face off like that.
This place smells like New Jersey. Reminds us of home.
In New Jersey they call it pollution. Here they call it rehabilitation. Health. Here she comes, Mr. America.
Go on, Carol. Makes you 10 years younger. Makes you 15 years younger.
Guaranteed.
I'm trying to see what the breaking point is.
My shoulder. More of it. Come on, more. That's it. Come on. All over. All over. Oh, that feels good.
Zach, come on the mat. Oh. Get over here. I'm going to stand on here before I take off the shoes. Don't touch that. I should get my shadow shoes.
Could you give me my thongs, Cliff? This is terrible. You can't walk here.
You can't walk on the mat either?
Bob,
Where are they?
could you... Somebody in sneakers.
Where are they?
They're right over there on the...
Dad?
No.
Dad?
No. They're shower shoes.
You know,
You know what a princess is? Anybody here know what a princess is? Raise your hand.
Forget it. You try this. See if you
We'll
like
try it. I'm walking.
The CBS Evening News. Here we are in the Dead Sea. Gene Spatz giving directions to his son. Greg, that's Adam. Greg, I'll never do what you tell me, Spatz. Greg holds the record for breaking the most pottery in the Jerusalem Art Gallery. Thank God Spatz bought out the place, otherwise the kid would still be there. Okay, moving back. Let's see if we can pick up some of the beautiful Israeli women. Ah, yes. That looks familiar.
Look at this. Stay up. Stay up. Just lay still. Lay still. Mommy's holding you. Mommy's holding you. Stay still.
Here we have an instructor in the art of relaxing. He's our Dead Sea tour guide. A drowning fish known as Schlabedecke Gibbs. Okay, Cliff Gibbs signing off. Gibbs back again. Let's see, here we have the 1985 Miss Israel flaunting her stuff. Gibbs back again. I just realized who that woman was. Okay, she's had enough already. She's coming in.
Well, here's the towel. All right.
Again, no pun intended, with a group of Black Orthodox from the States, I believe. Uh-huh. And who said there were no Schwarzes in Israel? Okay, this is from Bethesda Baptist. Just a panoramic view and a little commentary. To show out of the desert, out of nothing, what Israelis do. They make a beautiful resort that wasn't here when Milton was here last.
We're going to come for my niece. What about Masada? She's going to be about Masada.
Swimming pool, baths, men's bathing area, restricted of course. And a place where these Meshuggahs want to put tar on their bodies or mud. Didn't work too good with my kids, but who knows? Might work good with yours. Barren, isn't it? All right, CBS News approaching some tourists. Tourists. Here's some people. Wait, they look familiar to me, but I have a slight problem recognizing them.
Now you guys get it, Erica.
These are the semifinals of the Al Jolson contest.
Synagogue travel takes anyone without regard to sex, color, or creed.
That old man's liver, he just keeps rolling.
No, what do I do? Back a little. We're getting a little too close.
All right, I think that who has the nicest tan?
Where's Erica?
Let's see. It's unbelievable. The sun out here.
Stoney, baby, I can't wait to see you.
Gotta get a close-up of this. Look at this Mediterranean sun. She wears a hat, that's why the top of her head didn't cut color.
This brings out the color in your bathing suit. It looks sensational.
Looks a little, I'd say it's surrealist.
Now I can go back.
Sir, excuse me? Are you from Israel?
No, I'm from the States.
You're from the States.
Yeah.
How did you get here? Did you...
I got here by aeroplane, you
Airplane.
know, up there, coming down.
Was it a good flight?
A good flight. Our pilot, he was very, very good and he concentrated. What else would you like to know?
Did you come here with a tour or anything special?
I come here with tours, and I go back without tours. Some white tours, some black tours, some change in between.
Uh-huh.
Like just now, I saw a tour. Yesterday they were white. Today I don't know.
It's a crazy world, huh?
Crazy world.
What was the name of your tour guide, your tour group? Who put the tour together for you?
A guy from New Jersey, excuse me, from Mount Vernon by the name of Goldstein.
Goldstein?
Yeah, Goldstein. He took together a group of people and he brought them here. He made up a mitzvah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Where was it at, Masada?
It was at the wall. What's this walking up here? She's underdressed.
Ja, niemand zei straks aan hand, dus ik heb
Get a close-up of this. Okay.
Ja.
That's not dressed in according to Jewish tradition.
This is true. This is true.
Or any other tradition.
Okay, thank you very much. What is your name, sir?
Weinberg.
Okay.
How deep do some of those caves go? You know, it goes in, it's so big in the beginning and then it becomes narrow inside, goes down to about 100 feet inside. 100 feet inside, you can go. There are some of the very big ones. You can really walk inside and come out on the other side.
See him, I got him. I got him.
And now he goes in and behind the tree.
I got him.
All right.
It is
Very good, Muddy.
Now look at my hand now. Over there. See it?
Yep.
In the soft soil over there. This is cave number 4. That's where the book of Isaiah was found. That? Oh, I'm losing my voice. And you know, on the top, when you come from the top, there's another entrance to cave number 4. That's actually how the shepherd, the Bedouin shepherd, went in, jumped in, and he found the sheep, and he found also the jars, and that's how the whole story came out. Later on, the whole thing came out in 1947, and that's how he made a fortune, you know. He didn't make so much the shepherd like, you know, the shoemaker that later on they bought it and sold it and became really rich. This Mr. Kandu, which could do a lot of money. And he's the collector of next to the, I think he sold it to the States. He still has one jar from here, from this area. So this is only one of them. All around the caves are here in this place that known as the caves of Qumran. The caves of this sect of Essenes, this very Orthodox Jewish sect that went down around the area of Jerusalem, and somewhere around 100 BC they started to establish here a settlement, make the settlement of Qumran by the Arabs, by the settlement of the Dead Sea Scrolls, or the settlement of the Essenes. Many people believe that John the Baptist was one of them, and that's how, you know, they started to make out big of it, you know, especially the Christian people when they heard what happened here. So they used to baptize themselves many times, you know, going into this kind of ritual things and viewing themselves, you know, before writing the scriptures of the Bible. So that's how they say, okay, John the Baptist lived not far from here, maybe he was a village church of the Bedouin philosophers. Did I get it?
Yep.
ברוח, פחות רוח סולון. את המנוע מפה זה היה סולון. קבוצה קטנה זה סבבה. הגרש שזה בלוטם, אה? זה רגיל, אבל. התרגלת עליו. היה ממש... זה רגיל. הוא נוסע בכביש ישר והמנוע לא מתאבס.
Okay, here we are poolside at the Jerusalem Plaza. After a hard 2 weeks of touring, you can see the boys are really washed out. Adam Gibbs, Greg Spatz, where's Ian Gibbs? Oh, he's not here. Sorry.
Dad,
What?
I'm getting a hot dog. They don't have them. They do too.
No, they don't.
They don't have them today. They didn't anymore? What do they have? Oh yeah, they have tons of sandwiches.
Cool. Maybe I'll get a cider. When do we go upstairs?
Another cider?
Yeah.
No, I want to play some more paddle, man.
Yeah, I'm the team.
Put on your shoes.
We'll get a cider.
Another one? Yeah. No. Why are they at the too long?
All right, here we are. This is a new Israeli paddleball game.
Shlomo Gibbs, your tour guide.
All right, on the right, Shlomo Gibbs.
On the left,
On the left, Shlomiel Spatz, right here.
on the right, over here, Tati. Anna. Tatiana. Tati. Remember that guy.
And this is Mati, who's our guide today.
Follow my hand.
Ooh.
Follow my hand. Dad.
Erica,
Dad.
shh, shh.
Mimi, baby.
Ian Gibbs is now making up a new rule in this Israeli paddleball game. Good serve, Ian, but wrong game.
going with Okay, I'm just telling you.
Yo, Gene, after this game we have a rematch, okay? That can I do a little? Beer, it's okay.
Don't fall in it.
Alright, ready? One. You got my things with the toes in?
Yeah, I got everything there. Yep, everything. Nice going, Erica. That was a great one, Erica. Let me look at the scores. 9-2. No, I mean 1.202. That was good. Those were nines.
Now I dive off the back 16. Watch my swan dive and all the viewers. You ready? Watch. Dad, my swan dive. Dad. Daddy! Gino!
What?
Get your swan dive on tape. Ready?
Erica, go to
Ready?
pool.
Wait, hold on. Wait a second, Eric. I'm not even over.
No.
Which way you diving?
Ready?
All right, just wait. Eric, I don't have you, Eric.
Should do swan dive or a regular dive? Regular dive?
Now do a swan dive.
I'll try. It might be a very tough. I messed up, right?
Yep.
Got some hair right there.
Yeah, we can see that.
Alright, let me try again.
Your feet are lagging behind a little bit, Erica.
Give me some poses again. Where? You know what? Yeah? I'm gonna take you into the market. This is take you at home. Take you in the little market. This take you at home. Either that or random thing. Ready for my side dive? Ready?
Okay.
Dad, on.
What was that?
A side dive. Now I will impress you with my beautiful sky.
Okay.
How did that judge thank you?
Great, Eric. Great.
Zoom in on my toes, ready?
No, Erica, stop your toes. Okay, go in. Come on, Greg. All right, I got you. Come on, you're on there. Come on, Greg. Come on.
Get the chain and anchor and hang up on the rope.
All right, move.
I did it gently. You didn't get your hair wet.
All right, Greg, come on.
Did you get that thing?
No, I missed that then.
Oh,
Missed it. Retake.
All right, Gene, get my strap. No training!
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
That got me! See how fast you go in the water without taking a breath. Okay.
I go back.
Gene, shut it off.
Okay, watch this. Going back, Greg. Gene!
You bully. I see they'll be glad when we get out of this hotel. Come on, Greg, come over here. That's good. That's very good. On your back. Very good. On your back.
Hey, let me see it going, Adam. Wait, hold on.
Hey, Gene! Gene!
Beautiful dive. You can get in the Olympics with that.
You get me wet?
Na Gene, Gene, get
What?
the sound. Pero watch out, because behind there is cars!
Look at this. It's a nice style, a beautiful style. Water keeps it fresh, good air here. It's not so humid. It's on the mountains. Schools here on the right. There's a school on the right here, yeah? So you go to school from here without any problems. You don't need the buses here. And look at this here, okay? We stop here on the top of the hill and look over the city of Jerusalem so you understand which kind of point is it. Excellent though, look at this. The whole city is in front of you, on the right. The whole Chicalabuba, huh? ومكيدة كل. See, this is not marble, this is limestone. See how it looks like? Polished, so nice. That's what they're building here, some more on the right. So you come next year, you will not recognize this place. Each one has a nice view looking over.
These are you buy, right, Motor?
Well, then, you buy it, of course, yeah, you buy it. You
What do they range from?
This goes between from $40,000 to $80,000, you know. Not the terraces of the Rehovot Hasidah. Parking lots for the apartments. You see here like this, look at this. Yeah. And some others on the other side. Give shade a little bit and it's nice, it's important here. Look at the kindergarten here on the left, see? Also the same style, limestone polish, you see that here? Polish so nice, makes it really an area that people like it. Especially when the prices are not so high. Jerusalem has mountains around, says the Bible. And you see it all over, wherever you look. See how Jerusalem is actually surrounded by mountains and sitting on the mountains. But for your information, Jerusalem is not the highest point in the area. As we go down to Hebron, Hebron is the highest point. Jerusalem is a Mount of Olives that we were looking down from this panorama over there. It's about 2,400 feet. If you go up to Hebron, you come up to about 3,600 feet. So if it's lying in Hebron, you don't see it yet in Jerusalem. Later on it comes to Jerusalem too. So it's a little bit cooler there.
Beautiful courtyards.
Yeah. All this was nothing. There weren't any houses here in this place, you know. It was like one of the mountains around here. The wide mountains with the rocky hills. And that's how it looked like. So that's a part of the municipality. And that belongs to the city of Jerusalem. Here too. See, look at through the little round window. You see that's where they hang it inside, the clothes. Special space for it. And there, here, different style, completely zone 080.
Don, this looks like Staten Island, huh?
Yeah, plenty else. See, Bet Hayelet, Amit, Abraham Moshe Feigl Frisch. Children home. Donated by Abraham Moshe Feigl Frisch. You know the Frisch family?
Frisch?
Yeah. Abraham Moshe and Feigl Frisch. They donated for children home, you know, in this neighborhood. See, look at this, how they're building it. That's how it was. I mean, look at this. That's all I got for. See, not enough. See what? How it started, everything? See the quarry? How they take out the rocks and everything and chiseling them and polishing, and later on they set them in, and that's another neighborhood. To show you really how the pioneers really started. Pioneers of the modern Israel. Not the old, the pioneers that came in 1882. Yeah, it's, everything is so rocky, you know, you have to really work hard, you know, to cut off all this. And then after it keeps it so nice and the erosion doesn't affect it so quick like in many other places. In Tel Aviv, for example, the houses are getting, they look so old after, so they be of the same style, you see it? Everything has to be the same with the limestone Bethlehem. She died when she gave birth to her son Benjamin. And she was very old and all this, and this was a big surprise, you know, when she had another child like this. That's why she called him Benjamin, the son of the right hand at the right time. Now it says also, why was she buried here on the way to Bethlehem, on the way to Ephrata? Ephrata, you see, Ephrata. One of the names of Bethlehem is also Ephrata. So because when the children of Israel would come back from Egypt, you know, they were in Egypt over there. When they would come back from Egypt, they would be able, on the way to Jerusalem, on the main road, like we are going to do now, to stop and to visit the tomb of Mother Rachel. That's why also inside you have a big tomb, a big stone that marks actually the place where she was buried, the traditional site of Mother Rachel, the burial place. And this was still about the 12th century, only a tombstone. And that's it. It wasn't a building in all this. This was built only in 1865 by a famous man from England. They did a lot for the city of Jerusalem and for the holy sites, you know, for the Jewish people all over the country. Sir Moses Montefiore. And this Moses Montefiore came and built this building on the top of it. And they were all around started to come over Arab tombs. You know, they started to build a cemetery here around. That's how we actually separate from the rest of it, as you will see as we go out to this side, and marked it as the tomb of Mother Rachel. Now, she gave birth to her son, Benjamin, when she was very old. It's unusual, and that's why those who are having problems of having babies and all this, they come over, women, and spending here a few hours, and praying here and asking, you know, to help them.
Christian too.
Yeah, fertility and everything here.
Arab?
Everybody. No, not Arabs. Jewish.
Jewish and
Some Christian too, you know, because they know this kind of tradition, and they come over and they spend here. See over there, you see a covering that says, you know, their voice was heard. Their voice in Ramah. Ramah is the city next to Jerusalem. Was heard. Rachel bewailing her sons, you know, that they would come back to visit here. You want to say something?
Yeah, when we hit one, and the women will go with the rope.
Yeah.
Going around, winding around.
Moving around and tying it into their hands and holding it like, you know, it's a connection between them and Mother Rachel. And this makes the blessing of the whole kiddush and everything.
They pray for fertility to have children.
And that's what they pray really, how she had.
How old was Sarah and Benjamin? 90?
Oh, she was 87, 89, I think, you know. So it's really quite, it's quite the age, you know, to
I didn't
have.
think you meant that old.
It's quite the age to have a
50
baby.
maybe. 45, 50.
Rachel had many, but Rachel one, when she was very old, you know. Yeah, she had one, this little one, Benjamin, the little one, the beloved one. Okay, what you do, you go over there, you look around the street, I don't know. The covering is the donation, you can pull up the covering, look underneath, you see the stone.
At a certain time, this is a clue as to when the child is allowed the gate of redemption. Certain date, yeah.
By Rabbi Jacob Schneller and his son. They improved the whole thing, but still the condition.
They lived like 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, they lived like on the main road before Hebron. They carry everything on this donkey. Children, grandmother, everybody's on the donkey. All together. Saving guests. other people and students in the country. So you have
No cameras?
and stay. Yeah, you can take cameras, but stay together here. Don't.
Now in the city of heaven.
Tumbo Makbala. We can't get close to it, so I explain it. Take a picture of it from here.
This is the mosque. This is the burial place of the patriarch. The mosque.
The burial place is called?
Patriarch.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca. All around. From the villages around, see them? They come from the villages. Okay.
Ian, look at these things right here, Frank. Look at it. Look at it there behind you. You come home with that on Westbrook side, what do they say?
Was their like their father. You know. Abraham is everything for them. That's why they call him our beloved one, Abraham. El Khalil in Arabic. El Khalil. They call the city Khalil. The city is even named after him, El Khalil. Now, this is actually the highest point of the city here, and that's why you see we have this kind of fortification line on the top, and that's what the Crusaders actually built on the top, you know, to protect the whole city. But we are going down here a little bit lower here to this cave. That's actually what's mentioned in the Bible when Abraham bought a piece of land and called it the Tomb of Machpelah. A piece of land that he paid so much, and he double paid that this was worth, to be sure that this would be his, and not only as a gift. They wanted to give him as a gift, and he refused, and that's how we come to this site. Now, that's actually a part of a cave that goes down on the ground and goes in under the building. The building wasn't here. This building was built, you know when? 2,000 years ago. It's quite a building, huh? 2,000 years ago, already built here. And you see, if you look carefully, this will remind you something. You look on the wall, what do you see here? What was it? Okay?
The Western Wall.
Western Wall, exactly. This is like the Western Wall, like the Kotel. The same kind of wall, the same builder, Herod the Great. He built it. So he marked it, he covered it, and that's how he covered actually the tombs itself. Inside are some tombstones that are covered by a kind of a building in the building itself. You know, like the tomb of Rachel that we saw. But from outside, it's a typical Herodian building with the frames all around. You see how they chiseled it, so it looks like a frame, each one of those big stones. And when the Crusaders came in here, they also believed in this side is the tombs of the patriarchs, and that's how they built a big fortress and a place to pray here and to protect themselves from the Muslims around. So they built it on the top of the hill, looking over the city, looking over to the market and the bazaar. And that's actually where the Jewish quarter used to be here when the Jewish people were thrown out in 1936, 1929, they had to leave this area, and only after the 60 War came back to this place. You'll see later on how they pushed themselves actually back into their old homes in between the Arab citizens here in this little Shukr Bazaar. So the building itself is a holy shrine today also for the Muslims, because you saw the minaret on the other side. They built on top of the two minarets and made it a place as a mosque to pray, you know, 5 times a day that day. It's very interesting.
Where you from? Brooklyn, we live in Westchester. Right there.
I'll tell you what.
Carol, telling it to turn her off again.
To pray over there, which was the holy site of them, they were allowed only to go up 7 steps. That's all, still the 7 steps. And if you gave some money to one of the Arab Muslim guards, and they were the bosses here, and they felt like they are in charge of it. So you could go up another few steps and that's it, but never go inside to pray. Once there was somebody, somebody gave him some money and he let them in at night. And the Arabs found out later on they killed the Arab guard after it, So they're really afraid of letting you in. Only 7 steps and that's it. This was the law. No Jew were allowed to go into this place. The same thing was with the Western Wall till the 6-day war. You couldn't go over there. So today, Christian, Arabs, Jews, wherever you are, you can go in. And that's what we are publishing all over the world. And when the holy sites are in the Jewish hands, the Israeli hands, everything is free. And that's the reason why we have to take care of it. That's one of the points that we are putting all around. And Jerusalem especially, not to make it international, control, but Israeli control and open for everyone, to come and to pray in their holy site, in the mosque and the churches and everything. So let's go in to the main building. Herod's building.
Yeah, I thought he was. How do you look like a...
The dome that we saw from outside. So that's there was a place to pray, and that's how you do it. The main important things here are actually the tomb itself. And it's divided like into 3 rooms, separate rooms. This room is of Rebecca, Isaac over here. Then you have Abraham and Sarah, Yaakov and Leah. That's how it's divided, every room. Now, the important part is actually the tomb itself. Mentioned, you can look in. But this is again covered by coverings of the Arabs. They donated it and covered it. Underneath is this big tomb, really a tomb, a stone that, like we saw with the tomb of Mother Rachel. And this was built here down on the ground. But all this is actually new. And I say new a few hundred years that the Muslims built it so, made it this beautiful. Look at this thing, like the Plaza of Hebron, all around with decoration and all this, to give it the shape of a mosque, not like it used to be in the beginning before the shrine for the Jewish people. And the building from outside is actually Herodic, from Herod the Great, 2,000 years. But what we had here is during the 200 years, the last 200 years here, that they rebuilt it and made it so that it looked like a mosque. So here we get the tomb of Rebecca, and here in between we have this prayer place for the Muslims. So what happens is that in the time frame when the Muslims they're allowed to stand here, the Jewish people can stand in this corner and pray, and that's how we actually divide it. It was a big conflict, if you remember, a few years ago, about the time of praying here. Why shouldn't we go up and we want to pray here only in the time when they're not praying? So this time actually Moshe Dayan made it that each one will have his time to pray, except in one place. It's over there in the center, which the Muslims are not allowed to pray. The Muslims are not allowed to pray, except the Jewish people.
eye patch on it.
Yes, yeah, people are terrible against it, you know, the museum won't. But the museum did actually, they bought it from somebody that volunteered the money. They bought it from here.
Well, you read the water. People, Tish,
So you see how this is the nation?
It's filled. It's filled.
Sure.
Muslims believe that this is the tomb of Prophet Joseph, you know. And the Jewish people believe that he was buried over there in Samaria, Judea and Samaria, in Shechem. And the Muslims believe that this is his tomb here, Joseph. Yeah. And here down on the east is also the tombs of Adam and Eve. Nobody's allowed to go in on the inside down. That's why they call it the tombs of the Magdala. City of the Four. Here you are, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yeah, Sarah, Rebecca, and Leah, Adam and Eve. So we have the four couples. Is that?
Joseph wasn't here with his spouse?
Joseph went down to Egypt, you know, and later on became a big man up there. So the children of Israel came there to Joseph. Yeah, can give him something. That's kind of a blessing here. He sits all 35 years he sits here.
Gene, you have any shekels on you?
I don't have that.
He told me before
Yes.
1948, he remembers the war here around.
Oh, I have my other pen.
Give you one.
Okay.
He's blind, yeah.
Yes, but
Somebody takes him and brings him
yeah.
here every day.
There's a part of it. That's 800 years old.
That's funny. That's what I said to Adam before. All the way down there. Adam, you want to go?
See this Catholic, the whole area, look around, you see how how good is this one. Looking into the Jewish neighborhood, up to the Jewish cemetery a little bit more there, that's where the tombs are of those people that were massacred and killed here during the riots, more inside over there. Not this some behind it, this is the cemetery of the Muslims, but behind it. Yeah, that's why they sit here.
Like we're living 2,000 years ago.
Yeah. Look at the houses and everything. Look at the shape of houses. Really, you look back to 2,000 years. How beautiful.
All right, thank you. All right. Wait, how far? What do you have in center?
because they were afraid, you know, because of what happened here during the massacre, the riots time, you know, 1936. So all the Arab police put out the white flags to the windows. They were afraid that Israel is going to take revenge against what they did to the Jewish people, you know, during the riots. So all they put out to the windows white flags. And we came in like this, driving into the city, no one shot. In Hebron. Later on it became the worst, you know, hostile people.
Where's the Levenger condominium?
See how you have patrols going in now?
Yeah.
איפה אתה כל הזמן? מתחיל, עכשיו מתחיל.
Benny said.
Begging in the street, and they're 4, 5, 6 years old. They're hungry.
Yep.
Give me all the picture.
Homes here, so they took him out from the market. They had to put the stand outside here in the streets. They're going to rebuild the whole thing. That's in our little bit of that salazzo. Yeah? That's on the other bit of that salazzo. Mama? Think we sell it for? Here all this was surrounded, you see, by barbed wires now. And they're going here, they live here inside. Look, they're not that. What's up, Oleg? I don't need to have the signal. What's that you? You see inside actually, you see the guards, look back to the right. We can't stop here because it's forbidden. But here behind it, that's where Rabbi Levinger, and here those homes in front of us, the Hadassah building. That's the Hadassah building, you see it? That's a famous building. Since the 1929, that's where they lived here. And now they came back to this place, and you have to have all around guards protected in this area.
Well, that's where Levenger lives.
That's where Rabbi Levinger lives with his wife here. This first building on the left here, this Hadassah building, you see? It's ruined and everything. They want to rebuild the whole thing. And it's not so easy now because they took out some of the citizens that lived here. In the meantime, Arab citizens that occupy those houses.
So what is this, the shul?
Well, here, yeah. Here the yeshiva of Hebron. They have the yeshiva. Those who came back to Hebron. Yeah, so they have to protect. Because ever you put some Jewish people, you know, you have to put some special soldiers. And this costs a lot of money, of course. Not so easy. And it's a hostile city, believe me. It's a very hostile city.
There's an article in the paper today. 100 from the Hebron College protested against Jordan kicking out the Fatah.
Ah, you see?
Just
So
yesterday.
Yeah. So they are pro PLO, some of them. They're a big part of it. 60% I would say here.
Yeah.
Pro PLO. And of course they don't like it when we are coming back and starting.
They don't have a mayor, do they?
They don't have a mayor here now because the mayor resigned and one mayor was the PLO, so we sent him out. And now he is nominated by the Israeli government mayor, which is actually a government mayor from Israel. But they were ready almost, to elect somebody until a few days ago when King Hussein closed the offices of the PLO. Now they're afraid, those who are ready to be elected as mayors, that the PLO will come against them if there will be mayors in the city, that King Hussein is actually supporting Israel or something like this. It's true, we didn't come here for a long time, it was a little bit dangerous situation, to come down here. But now it's getting better. And you can try. What? That's a long way to go. شو بدك؟ يقول ما تلت رعاش بفهم رعاش لمنون؟
Bergdorf. Oh my goodness.
What?
Bergdorf Goodman.
Yeah.
Two stores.
Here they sing the Simon Tov and Mazel Tov. Simon Tov and Mazel Tov. No, it's funny. Here, Mashu. Mazel Tov, the Simon Tov. It looks like an Arab big town, like somewhere in Egypt or Morocco. They like this kind of schwanzes. Look at this on the left here. They're putting on bikes and in cars. If somebody has a wedding or marriage.
It's a better section up here.
Yeah, all this.
Stores with signs, windows.
It's a little bit better out of the shuk, out of the kasbah. Up on the left over there is the Jewish cemetery. Up on the top, on the left. The Jewish old cemetery where they massacred the Jewish people here in 1929, 1936. They are not here. The system is that they don't show themselves, here. Some ways they sit around, but they don't go in so much here in the main streets. In the Kasbah, it's important that they will be. You saw the tree, every tree walking around, with the walkie-talkies around, with the special guards. You have to show yourself in this Kasbah, otherwise they will do whatever they want there.
And they wear bulletproof vests?
Yeah, inside here, in the Kasbah, but not outside. Yeah, it's a very tough duty because you never know where is the hand when they're coming out from.
They get to tuck the soldiers up here?
Yeah. Here, another movie here. CBS. You see the CBS? It's okay. But the Arabs really, since the 60 war, are much, much better, doing much better. I would say 90% better than they did before. They had nothing. They were poor and miserable, and you saw them around, they looked for a penny. All of them working, They have the money, you see it. As ever you look up to the houses, new houses over there up on the top of the hill. Look at this. All around buildings. So it's a lot of propaganda, by the PLO trying to push in and to push them and make them destroying rocks and all this. Otherwise, if it's too quiet for a long time, it looks like, everything is so nice and good. I mean, it's so good, what's the matter? Why not Israel? Why Jordan would come here? This was never Jordan, this was always open. This wasn't the Jordanian territory. Only the 19 years since 1948 to 1967. So a lot of politics, is involved in it, and a lot of radicals, those Muslims, are involved in it, with the supporters of the PLO. On the other side, you have the Rabbi Levinger with the Guru Shimonim. All of them together, once against the other, are two big blocks that they can't live together. They really can't live together. And if not the Labour Party and some kind of governments that are actually trying to keep this balance between those two nations here, this could be a war every day here. Very tender situation, really very tender. And to understand it, you have to leave here. You see it from outside, so it doesn't impress you so much, but the moment you stay here, you hear what's going on here. It's like in a pressure bottle, sitting here around and waiting for the explosion, that will happen. It's kind of arches, much more expensive than a normal, entrance. If they do it like this, they have to have the money. See how it's
PLO, whatever you want to
That's
call
what
them.
we
They'll
say,
kill each other off who wants to be the Holocaust.
Maybe they will establish a state for the
If
Palestinians.
they establish a state, then they have a home address. If they violate the law, there's war.
Yeah, that's true.
They're a country. Then you can declare war on them.
That's what they don't want, you know. They're afraid that this will happen.
I know. But I think for Israel, it's not so bad. If they say that's Palestine.
No, on the right side, there'll be another one. We don't want to cross the road too. Be another one right here. There's other one. Okay, Chama. That's a nice house also, isn't it? Nice houses, huh? Uh-huh.
I can get you a private on Wednesday.
These Arab houses?
Yeah, all of them are houses.
Not that I see.
Let me pay up, see.
Around. So we drive around and then when we come to a place, we'll tell you the story about the Gush. Gush means the block. That's your block. And this man that established it, Mr. Holtzman Ezio. Army camp next to it, you see the protected Army training camp for the engineering brigade here. Yes, we looked over, we never could come up to this place. That's this famous Kfar Etzion. All around here were bunkers. That's how they protect themselves during the War of Independence against the Arab villages around, all around Arab villages. And the famous story, really, what happened, you see the bunkers here. It's not only from today, it's from those times too, a little bit further. We found some of the bunkers here. And the famous story actually here goes back to the Lamed Hay, you know, the 35 Palmach members that came up to this area to help the Gush, the bloc, during the War of Independence. And what really happened is that, like this, we will stop in a moment, I'll tell the whole story so it's easier when we don't move around. That's it, very good. This place by this Etzion, Mr. Etzion, that bought the land earlier, much before. And 4 kibbutzim were established here, 1943, 45, 6, and 7. A little bit before the War of Independence, was established the last one. One was Gush Etzion, the Kfar Etzion, this village of Etzion, Rebadim, and Surim, and another one. All those 4 were here located around this hill, around this place. When the War of Independence started, the first thing to do by the Arabs was to cut off the main road to Jerusalem, which means to cut off the supply to those Jewish settlers here around this area. And the situation was so bad that people really were wounded here and dying, and that there was nobody to help them. You couldn't get into this place. So the headquarters of the Palmach at this time in Jerusalem was sitting for a few days and trying to find a solution what to do with those people. Children, women, and men that were stuck here and surrounded from all around by those Arab villages, people from the city of Hebron that are not so nice, you know, when I say not nice, killers really, and came all around, surrounded this place. So what could you do? You couldn't do anything, you didn't have airplanes. We tried to send a kind of a little airplane that we got at this time from Czechoslovakia, the first airplane. And it came in and threw down something, and it fell to the other side of the barbed wires, and the air picked it up. So there wasn't a way how and what to do here, till they decide that a group of 35 good fighters, Palmach members, Palmach was the good organization that fought at this time here in the country, organized themselves. They took food, weapon, everything that was, you know, good for them here, carried on their backs, and left at night from the area around Jerusalem, a little bit down lower, next to Bet Shemesh, and started to climb up all night, climbing up through the riverbeds like this, going up to the mountains into this area. Coming not far from here in the morning, early, the sunrise, they came up to one of the mountains over there, the second mountain from here, this side, on the way down, you know. They came up to this hill and they saw an Arab shepherd. So one of them said, let's kill him, otherwise, you know, he will immediately run to the villages to say the Jewish people are coming up here to help those settlers here. So, you know, the Jewish heart, somebody said, no, why should we do it? Leave him alone, he will not do anything, nothing will happen. And there was arguing, yes to kill, not to kill him, to release him, to take him with us. Then they decided to let him free. They let him free, and after they continued to go up higher and higher, after a few hours, they saw hundreds and later on thousands of Arabs coming from all around, surrounding them from all around, and they went into the big trap. And they fought here for about 48 hours, almost 48 hours, till the last man of those 35. Originally there were 38, but when they started to walk,
volunteered the guy. 1948.
Yeah.
War of Independence.
It was the last place, and that's it.
How many people gave up?
What?
How many people left to give up?
They were, they kept alive, they captured, I think, 12 people alive. The rest of them wounded, the rest of them were killed all around, and that's it. Yes, still today.
תתחיל בכסף בבנק המזרח בתחושש.
נו.
שתייה שם.
אז מה היה פה שייך?
אז הוא נתן לה את המגזין, נתן לו את המגזין שיתקר ויסביר.
לא היה. The tree, that's the oak tree, the famous oak tree. And that's what all those people that lived here once used to be in Jerusalem, you know, between the War of Independence and the 6-Day War, used to look up to the gush here, to the block, and see this oak tree from Jerusalem, you could see it. And they used to say, you see, this is the place where we lived once, all those years, you know, till they came back. Now, when they came back, they built a monument here for those who came back to the Etzion block. There's a big scroll here beside the yeshiva. You have all kind of schools, especially Efrat. You see over there? This is it. See there. Okay, they're building it by the year. They take a shower. Once a Friday, only the shower. They don't need it because they have so many clothes, one on the other. You know, the Arab women, they wear so many layers. Look carefully, you see so many dresses, one on top of the other. And they say that this protects them, you know, from the hot climate. And from the cold weather too. So what they need is actually once a week they have the Christian here. Look at that. It's a new shopping area here all around. Yeah. And you know how many Israelis are coming here to buy? You can't believe it. You come here Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, packed with Israelis. Go in quick over there. יש הטבה על העלייה מצד ימין, חוץ ככה, כיסאות יושבים, שם מוניות, utility. Today it became the famous side as the church, but this was originally a big cave. From the cave it was developed the stable, and in the stable they show you the place where he was born, Jesus, and how the whole thing became so important here, how the city became so big because that he was born here in this area. במקום אוטובוס של 200 איש הגיע אנרגיה מפלטוס. ראית? אוטובוסים גדולים היו באים של 100-200 איש. עכשיו תראה מה בא, 4 אנשים. איזה בדיחה. אף פעם לא היה שלט של החברה הזו על הפרעה בכלל. זה מראה לך שהמצב עוד חמור. יאללה, זה פוליטי. Bethlehem, it's known as the Manger Square, after the manger that we will see inside, where they believe that he was put in the manger to keep him warm when Christmas time, winter time, his warm was so cold, so they put him in a manger. See, that's the church on the left, see what those people are going in. Big church of the Nativity. Birthplace here. The Holy Ghost is showing the Holy Ghost. זה סקט, אהלן, לא, אלה משפחה קטנה, זה לא... משפחה, משפוחה. I go take a nap.
It's always a little small, huh?
Silent, modest stress. See that you're not supposed to talk when you're
Conduct yourself with respect.
absolute silence.
No, bracelets.
Smile. They did here. They had to protect this place against the Arab Muslims, the Christians. That's why they built a lower gate, and the lower gate twice they lowered it. You see marks of how they lowered it twice to protect themselves from the Muslims around. They tried to destroy the church, you know, around the big area of the Muslims over here. The Christian side of this that was built on this side. And what we are watching actually here, looking now, this is going back to the time of Constantine, when they started to build the first church on the top of the side, the staple. Enlarged it and hide it. Look up, you see, and gave the shape of the cross. Look at this. It goes like this straight down to the altar and goes into the right and to the left. That's how it makes it the cross. See, like this, right and left. So this was in the 6th century AD. The Crusaders decorated here with this mosaic on both sides in the 12th century. And since the 17th century, they fixed the roof. And that's the roof of 300 years that you see over there. And so was it all those years actually the same church used on the side where they believed that he was born, that we'll see later on. The city actually of Bethlehem, wasn't a very famous city till this day, what happened. But after what happened, after it became so famous that he was born here, all kind of rulers tried to take care of this city, take care of it. And the Persians actually in 614, when they came into the country, they destroyed everything that didn't belong to Persians, you know. They destroyed churches and all around. They came into this place, they looked to the front of it, to the altar over there, they saw a kind of a picture of 3 wise men. They were sure that those are people that are worshipping to the Persians. So they gave the order not to destroy this church. And that's the only one church that was not destroyed, you know, by the Persians during all those years. And that's a great miracle that they believe in, you know, that this happened because this is the birthplace of Jesus.
So they built the church around his birthplace.
On the top of it. You go down to the birthplace. Now here, if you look to this
Watch out there, don't step down.
Watch it here.
Erica, be careful, don't step back. Erica, don't
The Armenian. And outside over there, it's a part, almost a part of the same church, are the Roman Catholics. And that's what you see on Christmas night. If somebody's watching sometimes by mistake, you see it, you know. This midnight mass from here, transferred from the other church, from Roman Catholic, all over the world, the midnight mass that comes out from here. What we see here is all cedars of Lebanon. See over there what they made it of, the altar and everything is cedars of Lebanon, icons, beautiful oil lamps. They have everything that you see here is being donated and was donated by different, the Russian Tsar, Napoleon, everyone that, you know, came into this area gave something to this church to show how they appreciate, you know, this place and how they protect it. Behind the doors over there is the biggest treasure of the Greek order. And one Christmas, a few years ago, 2 thieves went in over there. They thought it's too busy here, so nobody would see them. They went in, started to take out gold and silver from top, and they got them. The police got them because this is a stupid thing. The whole army is here this time, and police, security, and all that. So they got them, and that's the biggest treasure of the Greek order. I would say they're richest here because they came in early here, and they have the most important sites, and this means a lot of money. You saw it at the tomb of Jesus in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
This is the manger right here.
Hmm?
This is the manger.
Yeah, this is the manger here to the right. See, it looks so... No, originally was it actually not like we see it now. It looks straight ahead of you. This was the entrance here, in front of us. That's where the entrance to the cave was. Later on, what they did actually, they built a door, they designed it so nice, they covered it with this kind of walls, special asbestos against fire to protect this place, oil lamps and everything. So that's, he was born there, see the 14-point silverstone. This is from the 18th century. This is what asbestos. The French East.
One marathon killed 156. No Roman
serpent, they will get right from the start to go. Like Pictalina. When they cripple the start between Russia and French, they stick with the original. This is not
So that's really how they used to have here, sheep and goats and horses. And this was a warm place always because they used to take.
Hung with cold Bob's nails, that's why he's on the cross.
But they do have a pilgrimage out where they pay Christmas on the 7 stations of the cross, up the way that he walked with the cross on his back before they did.
Okay.
Don't quote me.
This is.
Oh God! Look at that sculpture.
This statue here, this is Saint Jerome, you know. He was the one that translated the Bible. The famous translation of the Bible in the 4th century from Greek into Latin. So he made it possible for many people. Saint Jerome, this was his name. Saint Jerome. Here it's written Saint Hieronymus, you see. But his nickname was actually Saint Jerome. He was a famous scholar, translated, you know, the Bible, and made it so that many people could read it in Latin. They always say, you know, this was written in Greek. And that's how it became so famous, and that's why they put the statue here in the front of the church. And if you look at next to his foot over there, you see the skull, because we say from ashes to ashes, you know. So they put a skull next to his foot, you see with his feather, standing translating the Bible from Vulgate, famous translation. Now we hear the official guide of the church.
Take a picture of this here from this
And
side.
behind him you see Saint Catherine, Santa Caterina.
Santa Caterina.
Okay, great.
You want the picture again? Go a little bit there. Yeah. That's on the side, and then 1, 2, 3.
Jesus was on the cross.
Marketplace of Bethlehem. Here's a weekend use clip.
Something that is very big and needed.
That's about it, right?
Yeah, I don't really see anything too
No,
terribly exciting.
The cliff.
Dormition.
רבע שעה אחרי השכמה. 5:15 הם מוציאים החוצה. עכשיו אתה צריך לצאת ב6:15, 5:45 תהיה שם, כן? חצי שעה לפני כן. אני אגיד הבית פה, 5:45 מעמיסים. בסדר? לאן אתה הולך עכשיו? הביתה. יש לנו טופס מיוחד. איפה אתה נפלא? רגע פה, שנייה תלפיות.
That's not nice.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the tour, tell her.
Hey, Greg, sit down.
מה מציע? יואל מרגון אומר, אני מכה, אני מכה. זה מה שאני חושב. ציפה לך. זה מה שאמר לי חבר שלי דורון, שווה באוזן. אומר לי שום רבינו שלום עליכם, רבינו שלום, שלום, שלום עליכם.
Monday! Monday!
I will be tomorrow with you to the airport.
When you come to the airport?
You'll pick me up on the way. He will come here at 5:45 to take your luggage and you. And I'll wait for you on the way over there out of Jerusalem when I live. And you pick me up and I'll check you in and everything. Take care of you, check in.
Okay.
Very nice.
Be sure that you don't have any problems with security. If we have to stay, we'll stay this now.
Yeah, you look great, Greg.
Okay, this is a face of an old door.
Here comes Zachy Gibbs. Come on, Zachy.
Hey, don't fall. Stop biting on that. Don't do that. Come here.
Hold his hand, Ian. He's got it.
He's Rambo. He's Rambo for the freedom. Centurions, power extreme.
Okay, Carol was very successful today.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bob also had a
Here we
successful
are.
day.
We're ready to just land in Jerusalem. Stay here for a week.
Anybody take a 10?